Cool, guys. Well, thanks for joining. As always, we're here to celebrate victories and solve problems and all make this industry just a little bit better, 1% every day. Anybody got a win that they want to share with the crew, whether business or personal? Come on, we always got to start with positivity. Mr. Hank, got any wins? Oh, we're being shy today. I see a couple of new faces. Michael Griffin, are you new to the round table?
Yes, I am. This is my first time.
Awesome, man. Welcome to the show. Whereabouts are you from, and what got you interested in the round table?
I'm from Massachusetts. Um, I'm actually a welder by trade, but I had some time in a classroom for work, and obviously I want to make money as much money as I can on the side, or even roll it into a full-time thing. So I just found them on YouTube, started watching, and rolled into this. So decided I'd join and see what it's all about.
Awesome, man. Well, welcome. Ears open, eyes open. There's a lot of people in the room here who have been doing asphalt for a long time and filled a lot of potholes, sealed a lot of cracks in asphalt. And welcome to the show. Matt
Yeah.
Valou. Am I pronouncing that right, or is it the French way?
Say you. How you guys doing tonight?
No complaints, brother. You got a
I
victory for
got a
us?
win. I was able to purchase my second seal coating trailer, a 700-gallon trailer. So I'm pretty psyched about that. It's going to be being delivered as we speak, 10 business days or so, and trucked over here. Couple pothole deals. I was able to reach back to one of the customers that gave me a deposit from last season. Lost all communication with them for a while. Reached out to him, answered the phone, and we're back on for that job first of the spring. Obviously, a couple. I told him, I said, we're gonna have to revise the quote a little bit because the freeze and thaw has done a real job on some of the pavement over here. So we're gonna have a lot of cracks in his freshly paved asphalt that was done 2 years ago. So, but yeah, no, things are good. So that's my win.
Good to hear. It's one of those lessons here to take note of, that it's never too late to follow up, and a job is never done until they tell you, no, we're not doing it. And even so, it's probably going to get done next year. There's going to be some work to do next year, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Cool. Daniel Sukram, are you new to the group as well?
Yes, I'm new. I've been following Asphalt Kingdom for actually over a year now, and I wanted to join this round table and finally made the time, and I'm glad to meet everyone. Thank you for having me.
Cool, man. We're lucky to have you. We appreciate you hopping on.
Thank you.
Anybody else got a win? Mr. Garcia, anybody? Mr. Malone, Mr. Garmin? You're always winning, Mr. Garmin. So I know I can always come back to you if I got to go to the well if it's dry.
I had
No
one this
wins?
morning.
Let's go, Cam.
So my wife needed to go talk to a real estate agent office this morning, and so there was a hotel right beside it. So I walked in with a flyer and talked to the manager, and he told me how he wasn't impressed with the last guy that did it, and told me what he wasn't happy about. And so I told him, I says, well, if you bring me on board, I says, I'm looking to basically work with you for as long as I possibly can. So I'll come back here in the fall, make sure that everything's looking good. I said, looks like your lines all need to be done. Looks like you're starting to get some cracks. He says, yeah, we're 7 years old. We've never done any crack filling. So we went through all that. And then he says, do you do snow removal? And I said, well, not yet, but if I get enough people looking for it, we could definitely go out and get a skid steer and do some of that later on down the road too. So I talked to about 6 or 7 hotels this morning, and that was the biggest thing that came up. So potholes, yeah, big thing, but there obviously is not enough snow removal up here, even though we have it all the time anyway. So that was the thing, is they were looking for basically somebody that could do it all. So I'm trying, I says, like, I know people, so whether I can't get on it, we'll connect you up with the guys that can.
Yeah, snow removal is always an interesting conversation because the way that insurance works, state to state, province to province, is very different. and hotels are always a fun logistical challenge. I see Mr. Schuyler having a giggle there on snow removal. Got something to add for us, Skylar? No? Oh, he's laughing. He's laughing in the background. He's just laughing with the
I
daughter.
love snow removal in the dust, man.
Why'd you do that? I think that perspective could be valuable.
Unpredictability. Like every move I've made is predictability, right? Like what can I control? So that's really why, like in the Northeast, like it's been so hit or miss. Like the first year that I did snow removal, it was great. And then it was just like no snow, and I have trucks and equipment and guys, and then it's already hard to get good guys out, and let alone around the clock and one call and up at 1, 2, 3 a.m. and work for days on end. Like, for one, I don't want to do it. Like, for two, it's just, it's a beast to manage. So it's like, what can I do that's more predictable? Like, again, asphalt patching is going to extend your season. So we focused a lot there. And then, you really want to start patching, and then patching typically leads to large patches, which then leads to paving, and then still have a downtime. And, we're focused on, more construction now than anything. So it's replicatable. It's over and over and over again. It's not, if it snows, I make money. That's a horrible business model.
Well said. Yeah, I think the only time I've seen snow removal work really, really well is when you're on a monthly contract and you have enough to pay your guys a retainer. But it's the double-edged sword, because when you work with the client, if it snows a lot, you don't make any money. If it doesn't snow a lot, you make all of the money, but then your client feels like they got ripped off. So
Yeah.
it's
And then
it's a double-edged sword.
typically sites like that, you have a triaxle on site, you have loaders on site. Like,
Yeah.
typically contract sites are super heavy equipment, which you can rent on retainer, but you got to be ready to shell out the 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 15 grand a month to do it, to get rolling. Which pretty much any heavy equipment place, will do snow equipment like that. But it's a beast.
It's a beast. Yeah, it fits well if you're into
problem
earthworks.
too is you're constantly running out of salt. That's the biggest thing right now, is salt consumption. So yeah, I've been dealing with it. So
Yeah, I've seen a few Facebook call outs for anybody want to bring me a pallet of salt? I'll take a bag, I'll take a pallet, I'll take 10. The shortage hits you hard, and then there's the whole liability factor as well, right? So chase every opportunity, but as Skylar said, evaluate every opportunity for, is this replicable? Is this scalable? Can you plan for this, right? So good business, but you got to be set up for it. So,
well, I've got an acquaintance that's their landscaper, and they do snow removal in the winter, and that's kind of what I was thinking, as I just turn on and try and connect them up and say, okay, you know what? I'll take 10% off the top and you can have the rest. And because that, as I started thinking about that, yeah, to get into all that equipment and I know it's expensive. And then your insurance and whatever off the top of that. So I was just like, if I can turn around and even be the negotiator, the middleman, to turn around and set it all up and just take a chunk off the top, it's probably the better way to go, and let somebody who's already set up to do it, and I'll do what I do.
Salt contracts are way more valuable than plowing contracts too. Like, I would never touch a plowing contract without salt. Like, especially when you can sell pre-salt and stuff, like all the money is in salt, in plowing. Because like plowing's just an hourly wage per hour per operator, etc. Like, oh, whatever, 50 an hour for the shovelers, 150 for the trucks, whatever your pricing chart is. But like, still, say you do that for 10, 12 hours, it's not like sealer to us, right? Where you can lay a bunch of gallons in a short amount of time, where salt is like that, where it's like, hey, if there's a chance of event, like, this is the trigger for the pre-salt event. So even if it doesn't snow, you're getting written a check, because, they don't want the liabilities, like Dylan was saying, with like ice and those type of things. So you're pre-salting, and then, you have your triggers of every inch or 3 inches or whatever, you'll do your removal, and then you'll also salt again. So those are the contracts that are like, the bread and butter.
100%. Remember, with snow removal, like, they're buying liability, but you're absorbing that liability. So, if you're not doing the salt, if you're not doing the de-icing, then you're opening up yourself to liability. And the United States is quite litigious. So cool. Anybody else have any wins that they want to share with the group? We've got about 12 minutes. Maybe we're a little bit warmer, a little bit less shy. No wins? Nothing.
Dylan, I'll throw one out.
Let's go, Matt.
So, as you're bidding, like I bid on a pretty big project here, and it was just over 300,000 square feet. So it'd be a week and a half project just because we have to schedule around traffic, pedestrian traffic, and what have you. But they called me just probably an hour and a half ago to just some follow-up questions because it was a sealed bid. So there was four contractors, and you had to put your bid in an envelope and seal it, and they opened them up right there at their board meeting. And so I got a call during their board meeting with some questions, and they said that as of right now, yours is the most favorable bid. So the win is if you don't go out and bid on stuff, even though I may or may not have got this bid, but if you don't go out and bid on it, you're never going to get anything. So the win to think about and look at is just make sure you're always putting yourself out there. Be present, have a good presentation. Is I mean, if I would have written that on a napkin or even a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, I probably wouldn't have got the call. But because I have detail and breakdown and everything, they knew what they were. They knew the questions to ask, and so just that's the win, is just always bid, be prepared, and know your business. So if you do get that surprise call, you can answer it, and hopefully next week I'll report that I won that bid. It'll be a good start to the season with that many gallons putting down. So,
The nice high 5-figure bid, I assume.
yeah, yep.
Yeah,
It's about 130.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's important to build the pipeline, right? I think, some of us can get caught in that feedback loop of, well, it's early in the season, I don't have to be out there until the sun comes out or the ice melts, but really at this time of year, guys, like it's all about building the pipeline. And so, when you look at how much you have in your pipeline, which is all of the quotes that you have, all of the work that you've got approved, you add all of that up, and you get to April 1st, which is kind of the end of quarter one, and you really have to ask yourself, do I have 25% of my proposal value goal in my pipeline? Because if you don't, you're behind, right? And it's only going to get harder to catch up, because as we get later into the season, you start layering in operations, you just don't have as much time. And you're also missing out on all of the spring work, which is when typically clients want to have this stuff done. They want their parking lot to look fresh and sharp as soon as the snow melts and as soon as they're ready kind of for that spring season, because that's when they've built it into their budgets. So it's all about the pipeline. So as Matt says, make sure you're filling it, make sure you're doing quotes, make sure you're doing proposals. The best time to start was yesterday. So cool. Awesome, guys. I wanted to do a little bit of an exercise tonight, because I just kind of wanted to read the room on kind of where everybody's challenges are. So, if you're brave, throw your hand up and you can come say your word on live. If you're a little shy, throw it into the chat here. But I just want to get a bit of a pulse on the room. In one word, I'll accept hyphenated words as well. How do you feel about your business today?
So I'll go ahead. So at this point, I think it was what you were saying just now that we fill in the pipeline at this time. And I'm in Canada, in Ontario, Canada. So it's snow on the ground. Everyone's thinking of snow removal. There's ice everywhere. But it's still trying to get myself and the business in front of the clients and be able to fill that pipeline in at this time of year. So, that was not one word.
So what's your word?
Resilience.
Resilience. Awesome.
Resilience.
Chat's pretty quiet, guys. Anybody want to throw a word in there? I'm expecting everybody to participate. Malone, you're coming on camera. What's your feel on your business right now? Obviously, you work with us here at AK, but what's your one word? How do you feel?
En route. Hyphenated en route.
I like that. It's one word in Spanish, so I'll accept it. That might not be. I should check with Ben Garcia. We've got expanding. Appreciate you, Cam. Jimmy, you got a word?
Jason got his hand up.
Growing. I like it. Let's go, Jimmy. What's your word?
This is a real basic
Growing
word.
was mine. I just jumped in there.
Just excited.
Excited.
Just for the fact that we're going full time this year, so just excited.
Learning. Cool. Optimistic. Awesome, guys. Germination stage. That's definitely 2 words, Ben Garcia. Lots of us are in kind of that optimistic stage. Matt, what's your word?
Determined.
Determined. Love it. I like all of these words for Q1.
So I was just on a Zoom call with a jobber probably 2 hours ago, and I'm hoping to start that up because I'm having a lot of problems with scheduling and wearing so many hats. So I'm excited about maybe the AI receptionist to allow them to also fill my calendar for me without me and have to even think about it. Setting up a block of times that I'm able to do my estimating and then also obviously run the operations of the business. So
Yeah, scheduling at scale when you're wearing all the hats. It's probably the steepest learning curve that there is in the business. Cool. So I heard resilience, en route, growing, excited, learning, optimistic, excited. Lots of us are in that kind of growth stage, obviously gearing up for big years. We've got big goals. We're chasing them down, sprouting. It's good. Hank, what's your word?
Hungry.
Hungry. Got that dog in you.
Yeah.
So at this stage in the game, we've got a lot of people that have some big goals. We're feeling optimistic, but I'll pose the question of what are you doing to get there? Why are you feeling optimistic, and what are you doing to back that up? What are you doing to back up your feeling of excitement? What are you doing to learn? What are you doing to level up your game here in Q1 when it's kind of the calm before the storm? Lots of YouTube. Love it. What type of content are we watching on YouTube? Are we watching material around how to seal, how to stripe? Are we watching general business stuff, striping? Cool. Hank, what are you doing to stay hungry?
Oh, I'm in Michigan, Detroit area. So the snow hit the ground early this year, like December. We usually don't get snow till like February. It hit the ground like the beginning of this December, and it's been snowing like almost every day. So, I'm pothole hunting, and I was doing all those things, and that it kind of hit me kind of hard, to knock me to my knee because I felt like the momentum was knocked out of me. Of course, working on a pipeline, you know, uh, I lost my momentum with that, but to stay hungry, you know, I came to the round table, you know, well, really is mindset. That's what I've been working on, and identity. Okay. So if I'm assuming the identity of maintenance repair, a business owner, I need to conduct the activities of a business owner, for maintenance repair. So hit the round table, and I've already gotten a handful of nuggets. I'm ready to jump back on, start making cold calls, get things lined up. And, like you say, 25% of my revenue, my yearly revenue goal should be lined up, before April 1st. And I like some Skylar said. He's talking about as small asphalt patches leads to larger asphalt patches lead to paving. You know what I'm saying?
Big time.
So
Big time.
all of those things are very exciting for me. So I kind of I curved up a little bit, got scared because bills were surrounding me. But now I feel like I'm back into a corner. I'm feeling pretty vicious. I'm ready to come out fighting.
Love it. Got that dog in you. It's good to see.
Yeah.
Remember, when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling chaotic, the reality is a lot of time the path is straight through, right? When you're feeling stressed, there's good stress and there's bad stress. There's stress that you put on yourself that isn't driving you towards a goal, but the stress that you put on yourself that is driving you towards the goal of, I've got to do this many assessments, this many proposals, talk to this many people, find this many leads, redesign the website. All of those things are good stress because they drive you towards the goal, right? Um, so call out for you guys here tonight, right? Is, when you think about that word, a lot of people are learning, a lot of people are growing, a lot of people are excited about the future that they're building for themselves here in 2026. You should be able to look in the mirror every morning and say, I moved myself closer to that goal yesterday, and I am going to move myself closer to that goal today. So my word is execution, right? For me, this time of the year, first half of the year, third quarter of the year, fourth quarter of the year, it's all about execution. We can spend a lot of time talking, planning, making ourselves feel good about putting things in our pipeline that aren't real. But the reality is it's all about execution. Can you put stuff in the top end of that pipeline? Can you build that funnel that is going to fill your pipeline with the most amount of opportunity that you can find in your area? Can you get creative about where you're finding that opportunity? And can you put it in one end of the pipeline and nurture it all the way out to the other side so that you've got more jobs, more revenue, and more profit than you've ever had? Because if you're not growing, you're shrinking, right? So cool. Awesome, guys. I wanted to keep it a little bit more informal tonight. So want to open it up to some questions. If there's, specifically if there's, a problem that you're dealing with, that you're looking for some support on how to solve, like to keep it just to, one question. And then ideally we can chime in with some support for you and help you kind of work through that issue. Just throw your hand up, just like Nathan has, and we'll roll through one at a time. Nathan, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I had a question. I bid a job the other day. I landed it. And then she was like, well, hey, do you also do asphalt repair? And I said, you know, I'm honest with people. So I was just like, you know, that's kind of out of my wheelhouse right now. I'm just concentrating on the line striping division. But like, I told her, like, I'm part of this group that has a bunch of very knowledgeable people. So I could ask. And she goes, yeah, look, whatever it costs, let's get it done. So she has a couple of potholes that are like 2x2 by like 8 inches deep. I mean, they're pretty gnarly potholes, but I was thinking, I don't really know how to price something like that. I could go get that ready mix shit and tap it till it's dry, you know, whatever. But um, I didn't know how to like really price it or really like the best route because that, like I said, is out of my wheelhouse. So I'd love some idea. But I know you guys have that like heated blower thing that you put over and it melts it down. I can't go all expensive like that, but she was just like, whatever, like to get like a quick fix. So I guess that'd be my question is like, what parameter, like, how would you do that? Like pothole?
Small pothole repair on asphalt, 2 feet wide, 2 inches deep, you said?
2 feet by 2 feet by like 8 inches. It's a gnarly pothole. I mean, you hit it in your truck, you're like, oh. So
Yeah, I mean, does anybody else want to jump in on that one?
$150, $200 a pothole. Bag will cost you about $30 a bag at Home Depot. At Tamper is going to cost you about $78. You'll always have it, be able to reuse it. Those are quick money makers, and you'll find more of that. Or you find, and we've talked about it before on here, find a preferred vendor. So I would just say that everybody on the phone call, on the round table tonight, if your wheelhouse is just line striping, your customer asks you if you could do X or Y, you say yes, and find a vendor, find a somebody that will do that work for you. Because anything, asphalt maintenance is such an open, I mean, there's so much opportunity to make income, whether you're seal coating, striping, doing pothole repair, or full on asphalt maintenance, paving. Because some paving companies are so big that if somebody called them up and says, hey, I've got this pothole or two potholes here, they may just say, oh yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it, and never get to it. So you just got to be that go-to person. And it may be uncomfortable or weird at first, but I think once you start following and listening in the round table, listening to different people and how that process is easily done, go on YouTube, watch, Judd has several videos on Asphalt Kingdom on that process, and just, make money on it, be successful and be professional, and you'll be good.
well, that was the thing that I was wondering, Matt, is like, uh, how would I calculate the mixture to depth ratio? You know what I mean? How it's all screwed up, like 2x2 by 8 inches. So it'd be like more like a bag of two. Like how would you calculate that?
Probably just plug it into ChatGPT or similar. It's going to be pretty good at math if you give it the dimensions and the product that you're planning on using. It's smarter than me, that's for sure. I mean, in terms of options, I mean, Matt spelled out, essentially a cold patch kit. You can always explore water activated patches or mastic patches. You can use a performance partner. If you're using a performance partner, do a markup. If you're going to do it yourself, there are a lot of ways to do it. That's not a particularly big pothole. And as Matt mentioned, those are money makers. You're not going to get most asphalt companies out for, I would put a pretty comfortable floor on it at about $1,500 is typically where you're going to get a paver to mobilize. Sometimes it's a lot higher than that based on the area that you're in, but good, clean, clear dimensions and product that you plan on using. And as long as you're plugging in the parameters and, kind of doing a check on it, I'd feel pretty comfortable about your usage on it. where it gets a little bit more variable is how long is it actually going to take you? And that's where kind of getting some reps in and really kind of getting that feel for how much can you actually do in an hour. A mobile, how long does it take you to get to site, take all your equipment out, get to work, and really starting to understand kind of your labor rate and what you can do in an hour or a couple hours of yourself or your crew's time.
So does like AK Dash have a setting for calculation? Like you guys have that calculator for seal coat, line striping, and all that. Does it have a calculator for such a thing?
It does, but for example, like it's not necessarily going to take into account the depth. It works better for infrared. So like on your end of things here, like it's really labor plus material. So, if you use material to understand the material cost, and then you put a time value on your time, and then multiply it by a margin, the simplest way to make sure you're making money on a project is to take your costs and multiply it by 2. That'll give you an estimated 50% margin, which is a super fair margin in this industry.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
And Dylan, you can find different apps and stuff. So most of your concrete batch plants and your asphalt batch plants and some of those bigger guys have apps that are already formulated for, how much aggregates needed for road base, how much aggregates needed for, what you need for cement and also for asphalt. So you can get those, you can plug in that 2x2 foot, and it even gives you inches. So is it 3 inches? And it will give you a tonnage calculation. So on these small potholes, you may not get that, it's probably too small for tonnage calculations, but again, it's just experience and stuff. And, if it's something that you want to add to your wheelhouse, get a couple bags of cold patch or the water patch. I forget which one it is that they use, but so anyway, you can do 1 or 2 of those patches and do it for a friend or somebody, so what it feels like to tamp it. You can feel it and see it, and then you could just, when you're line striping, because as stripers, you guys are usually seeing that stuff before seal coaters. And if you're out there doing a seal coat job, a line stripe job, and you see a pothole, you can now say, hey, I can do that, get that taken care of for you while I'm here, and make another 150, 300 or $500 when you're already there striping for, $500 or $600. So double your money for the same time being there. Cause it really, patching those are, 10, 15 minutes when you're doing cold patching. So
yeah, it's one of the best ways that you can increase your average job size. I remember a couple of weeks ago, Skylar talking about doing a little bit more of, basically a foam filled seam on residential driveways to bring an average driveway seal coat from, $500 to $800 or something like that. Those little add-ons, those extras, those extra pain points, those extra vitamins that you can give people while you're on site to save them the mobilization, but really take care of your bottom line. Just being able to recognize those and then be able to upsell them effectively is one of the quickest and easiest ways to grow your bottom line in your business. Cool. Anybody else have any questions? Shy crowd tonight. Michael, go ahead. Just in the future, throw up your hand so we know you're waiting. Hold you in the queue.
So like I said, I haven't started any of this. It's kind of my first time getting into it, so I don't have a problem that I need fixed. But I was wondering, starting off, I was kind of looking to do strictly residential seal coating or something small along the lines of that, like pothole repair. Those two. Just wondering what equipment minimum you guys think I should start out with, and maybe like a process or any way to get a good first couple leads.
Anybody want to be brave?
Your best bet, dude, to get clients is go door to door. Last year I fucked around with Apollo and AI systems and it's going to do all the work for you. It's a money drain, dude. Today, I went out of my house for 30 minutes. I landed 3 jobs that quick. I mean, and the good thing to keep in mind that all last year I struggled because I just started. So it was up and down and up and down. But I told myself this year, like, I'm going to set a minimum. So, like, 20 parking spots, $500. 30 parking spots, add 250. Just keep it going until you hit that point of where, okay, I actually have to measure this out because it's going to be more than what I can predict. So, but I focus on small lots and medium-sized lots. So, today, for example, I didn't know these guys. I didn't look up an AK dash or do a pre-quote or any of that. I just walked in. I counted the spots before I walked up, said, hey, you got 30 cars. I usually do 20 at this amount, 30, I'll do it for this amount. You have the price for them and you present yourself well, they'll land on you. Don't do the computer AI shit, bro. Just go knock on doors. That's the best bet for landing customers.
Thanks, Nathan. Um, I wouldn't completely discount the computer AI stuff. There's some value to it for sure, especially when you start scaling up and you just need more leads, more proposals, more assessments, more jobs. But the point that Nathan was making around keeping your costs low when you get started out, I can completely get behind, and going door to door in terms of the speed of your return. There's nothing in the world that beats that. And it's because not a lot of people want to do that. Most people will go knock a door 10 times, get 10 no's, and stop doing it instead of knocking that 11th door where they're going to get the yes, right? So, quickest way that you can understand kind of where to get started in your territory, Michael, is to understand where are the asphalt driveways in your territory. Go start knocking doors, pre-selling work here for the spring. And then in terms of equipment that you really need to get started on the seal coating side of things, you can start with a bucket and a broom if that's all that you have the budget for. The next step up from that is basically trash pump style sprayers that'll quickly increase your efficiency. And then there's the air assisted sprayers that open up your options for spraying aggregate in the sealant. Ideally, you want to have something you can fill cracks with, whether that's a tar kettle or a bottle of acrylic crack filler. It does work. You shouldn't stay there forever. And then kind of to what we were speaking about with Nathan around being able to do basic pothole repair, small stuff, as long as you've got 4 clear sides to it that you're able to dam. So when you put in a cold patch product, it's got something to hold it in place. You can use any of those cold patch products. If you don't have 4 sides or something that's essentially dammed that's going to hold the material in place, you're getting into hot asphalt repairs, whether that's picking up a ton of asphalt in the back of a trailer and shoveling it out with a wheelbarrow, or potentially using one of the smaller infrared systems. We've got a ton of those on our site.
Hey, Dylan, I was going to throw out, I mean, there's a few familiar faces, but a lot of new faces here. I started my business with an AK 150, I think it was. So it was a 150-gallon hand agitated kettle with a trash pump and I think a 50-foot hose and a wand. And I started that 12 years ago. And this last season, for my season, I did 140,000 gallons of seal coat. So last year I did about 115 or so. The year before that I did about 90 something. And so each year progressively doing more. Now I still have that 150 actually sitting in my yard, but I run 1,000-gallon tank and 2 700-gallon tanks, and I have 2 bulk tanks at my yard. And so the equipment that you have and start with, there's future, you can grow the business and you become as big as you want or medium as you want or whatever. That's the beauty about this business. And I think that's why this roundtable is so important. If you everybody on here just uses the information that you're getting and apply some of the principles or the golden nuggets, as it said, and you can build your business. And you know, Judd and his team at Asphalt Kingdom, they they're they will bend over backwards to help you get what you need to do. Um, and I just I can't thank Judd enough. Every time I see him at a paving expo or something like that, I always want to buy him dinner or buy him a drink or whatever the case may be. And it's just because he put me on this path to where I'm at today, having a multi-million-dollar business and doing, uh, a, a business that is something that I can eventually one day sell. And just, so that's when you're asking what type of equipment I need to start off with. The good thing about Asphalt Kingdom, as opposed to every other vendor that's out there that will sell you equipment, Asphalt Kingdom is willing to give you a blueprint, help you understand, and also give you opportunity to, buy in, get a coach and pay for that to get your business going. But more importantly is that they're willing to share that experience. And there's no other vendor, and believe me, I've checked, there's no other vendors that sell equipment, sell product, and everything that has a system like this roundtable. So that's if you're just here for the first time or been here multiple times, if you're not using the tools that they're willingly giving, or opportunities they offer, you're just not taking advantage of the system. So anyway.
I appreciate that response. I did go through their website and I liked a lot of the things that sorry for the second question, but the AK-150, is that the sprayer? Because I've been watching videos and whatnot, and do you ever spray residential, or do you strictly brush it, or like what's the process there starting out?
Yeah,
I mean, I
short
could answer
answer.
that too, Dylan,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, with residential, you can spray or do it by hand. Like you find a lot of guys get into spray when they get onto commercial, just because you can just cover a lot more ground a lot quicker. Very common to see residential projects done with a squeegee or like a concrete style broom to move the material around. You also will see guys use something like an AK-55 or an AK-230, which is essentially, a barrel or a tote system, just to move material, and then they're finishing with a broom or a squeegee. All of those methods work. Like if I'm in your shoes today, yeah, equipment matters, but like you can get going with a bucket and a broom. The thing that most guys don't do is they don't start marketing before they buy equipment. So you're much better off going out, starting your sales and marketing engine, going door to door, making sure you have your Facebook and your social media profiles set up so that people can find you. Your passive marketing and the indirect way that people are going to find you is going to build you social proof, and it's going to allow you to reach more people. So start your sales and marketing engine, go knock some doors. This group here, this round table, can help you from making a lot of mistakes that you might otherwise make. But at the end of the day, you got to go out there and you've got to take action, and you've got to execute and knock the doors and throw some prices out. And in a perfect world, you're unlocking projects before you ever have equipment, so that you've got what's called a customer funded business, right? Is that helpful, Michael? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you very much.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Michael, is this your first time attending a roundtable?
Yes.
Okay. Everything Matt and Dylan said are truth. That. I mean, I know they work for no, Dylan works for the company, but it's not an upsell. It's they put this out here, this round table. You usually have 4 long outstanding members of the asphalt world that come in and give you knowledge in this group. So it's really helpful. Asphalt Kingdom's super helpful on prices and stuff like that. And like they said, they give you a blueprint. So it's like, you know, you get this thing called the keys to the vault when you order from them, and it literally just gives you like the most helpful guidelines. But what Dylan said is like absolutely true. Load up on clients, prepare, then, you know, pull the gun. I did it backwards. I didn't listen, but now I'm making up for it.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, Nathan. Anybody else have any questions? Oh, awesome. Maria, sorry.
Hey, so just to kind of piggyback on that, Michael, sales tip on that one. Just say yes. If you get somebody that says they want to do it, just say yes. But hey, I'm busy. I was just in the neighborhood, but I can get you in next week. It'll buy you a little bit of time to get your stuff together.
Okay. Thank
So, sure. And then, second, just piggybacking off of Nathan again, Asphalt Kingdom has been so wonderful. I'm in a state that's really hard to get licensed in. Took me 3 years to get my license in the state, and Matthias was just like amazing. He stuck with me the whole time, and that's why I'm still here. But I actually do have a question.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any suggestions or where I can find I think Matt last week was saying like the trifolds or any type of marketing material that I can look at?
Anybody would chime in? Are you looking for places to print, or are you looking for like physical
No, like
copy?
the actual like information that I should include in a trifold.
Mhm.
I'm gonna start hitting some businesses and stuff like that this week. So
Hey Maria, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
yep.
Awesome. Hey, so I own Rocky Mountain here in Denver, Colorado. We do. Sorry, let me just so you guys know. So we typically do a lot of municipality work, but we're kind of getting back into the commercial. I have an uncle that actually owns Colorado Asphalt Works, and they're a pretty big suit here in Colorado. And that's mainly what he lives off of is just straight commercial work. He doesn't get into municipalities, things like that. I am trying to steer away from municipalities this year just because it's been super competitive. We mainly do concrete, large asphalt mill and pave jobs, but the competition out there, man, they're undercutting everything. So it's trying to go back into commercial, which brings me here to you guys. So thank you guys for having me. Uh, but Maria, so I mean, go ahead and jump on my website. I'm actually working on it as I'm on this call. But I have a handout basically that I do, right? If I'm driving around somewhere, I go to a restaurant and I see like, hey, they need some commercial work. I actually have some that I keep in my truck. It's like a one-page flyer, has the type of work we do, what we've done, where we've been, has a QR code on my website. And on the backside, it actually has like just like a small estimate sheet on the backside that I can pump it into real quick, drop it off to them. That way they have it in hand and they can see. Some customers like to see that estimate right up front, as opposed to, oh, let me measure it and then I'll come back to you. Usually if I'm there, I'll just measure it real quick, drop it off that way. But I could send you that template, Maria, if you'd like. If you'd like to put your email in the chat, it'd be great.
Yeah, thank you. I'll go ahead and do that. Thank you. I actually am doing a lot of municipality, only because I'm getting all of my certifications and so I'm in Las Vegas. There's no other women-owned DBE and SBE and all the other good stuff. That's a general contractor here, so I think I should be good there.
Awesome, Maria. No, that's awesome. That's really good, especially that DBE. I know this year they're changing some of those requirements. I've heard that if you're DBE certified, you're no longer DBE certified.
Right.
I just double check.
Yeah, you have to reapply. Everybody has to reapply.
It's kind of gotten into a big mess, but it's good, right? Because there's bigger companies that are claiming DBE, but they don't qualify for DBE at this point anymore. So.
Hey Maria, my trifold that I use is literally Judd's trifold with my phone number on it. I took 10 years ago, I took his packet that he emailed me, PDFs. I don't even think they were PDFs at the time. They were just Microsoft Word documents that he sent me over. And I literally just changed the phone number and my name of my company on it, printed those off, and that's what I've been using for the last 10 years. So 12 years or whatever the case may be. But
Is
those
that in the is that in the vault?
It's not anymore, Maria. If you want to email me, I can find a way to get it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where I got those from. All my literature, my flyers, my other even work schedules, and the job site papers for what equipment I'm using is all from AK. So and I just rebranded. I put my Southern Utah Seal Coat on the top of it and changed the phone number. So I mean, it could be as simple or complicated as you want, and if it's successful for you, great. If it's not, find a different route. And the great thing is there's 10, 20 people on here that have ideas and have, if they're willing to share, great. If not, I mean, there is always opportunity to improve your business.
Yeah, Maria, are you doing pavement assessments?
Well, I just got licensed, so not yet, but yes.
Cool. When I was operating, I used to have a brochure for kind of all of our services, and I would tailor make, based on the meeting, based on the client I was targeting, which brochure that we would deliver. And it would usually always have an introduction about the company, clearly display our services as it fell into that kind of loophole. And then always had some pictures, always had contact info, always had QR codes, and just kept it clean and simple. Like, it's not about the amount of content on those, it's about the readability of the content. So we used to have one for crack sealing and seal coating, patching. We did a lot of interior and safety markings. And then we obviously did a lot of striping, and then we did some pavement assessments as well. So what we would use them for is we would do lumpy mail to sort of key targets that we were going after. And those brochures, as well as a customized, basically sales letter introducing ourselves and calling out their pain points, worked really, really well for us.
Like sales letter just in the mail, or you actually drop it off?
Both. Physical mail works really, really well. Like, when you think about open rates,
Right.
bounce rates pretty low on mail. The UPS will also let you know if you get a bounce rate, so you can get that one for the cost of your stamp. And then on the open rate side of things, it typically performs better than anything electronic. The real key is to ensure that you're following up on it.
Thank you.
Cool. Awesome, guys. I've got a hard stop in about 5 minutes, but is there any other questions or any other issues that anybody on the screen here is working through?
Dylan, I'm sorry. I'd like to get in touch with the gentleman that does community work. I'm interested to chat with him and asking some questions. Is that Uriel? Is that right?
Yeah, it's Uriel. Hey, so I actually dropped my my website in the chat, and then I also put my personal email, my direct email to me, that you can reach out to as well.
Awesome, Uriel.
Yeah,
Thank
feel
you so
free,
much,
guys.
man.
Any questions you guys have, man, feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Uriel. Am I pronouncing that right, Uriel?
Yeah, that's perfect. Uri works. URI.
Uri.
Pretty easy. Yep.
Cool. I also saw Jimmy popped in there, Maria, just that he popped his website into GPT and then kicked it out in Canvas form, and that worked well for him. At the end of the day, it's just clear messaging to your target market, right? And speaking to their pain points and speaking their language. So cool, guys. Any other questions? Is everybody problem free? Is everybody's business just on top of the world? No pain points? No problems? What's going on, Jeff? How are you tonight? I think you're on mute.
Hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right, thanks. I was wondering if you guys were going to have a booth or anything going on at Payvex that we could swing by.
We're not doing it this year. There's just a lot going on the AK side this year. I expect we'll be there next year though.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. Good question. Any other questions? We're all rocking it. I mean, I know we're resilient, growing, excited, learning, optimistic, excited. Everybody just wants a little time back. I get it.
I have a question. Hear me?
Yeah, I got you, Matt.
Hey, buddy. So, y'all were talking about the pothole filling earlier, and I'm wondering when, if I'm using the cold patch, you mentioned that on the edges, like that maybe there's water that could seep through still. Is that true? Am I,
Yeah, that would be true of all patches if
how do
you
you
have a cold seam.
feel that if you're using that cold patch?
Look, I'm not sure if you're referring to my comment. My comment was more around you need consistent edges all the way around so that the pothole can or the patch can sit inside. So if you think about a three-sided shape and one side is open, if you don't have that fourth side to the shape, it's not going to hold it in. Like think if you were pouring concrete without forms, then that there's nothing to hold that patch in place, right?
Okay, I
Is that
understand. I think you were mentioning edges in the sense that maybe the depth of the edge compared to the original asphalt or sealing it, something like that.
Yeah, think about it like forms or damming on concrete. Like if you don't have anything to hold that patch in place, then it typically is going to fail prematurely and oftentimes within weeks, especially if it's a cold, like a true cold patch product where it's just compaction related. It doesn't have a water activated binder or anything like that, like some of the cold patch products have. Like if you're just using cold patch out of a bag and compacting, you need something to hold that in place. And if you're using anything water activated, you need to have enough of a form around it to hold it in place.
I do have a pothole that I may get a job on, but it's more of a like it looks like a half moon kind of pothole where half of it or one side of it is lifted up and the other side is kind of tilted down. So I'm not sure if I could use, still the cold patch on something like that.
It's going to be difficult too. Like without seeing a picture, I can't say for sure. But the likelihood if there's nothing to hold that patch in place, it's probably not going to last very long. But as long as you communicate that to your customer, if that's what they want and want to go with, as long as you're communicating. Matt, if you want to jump in, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was going to say it also sounded like he was asking about the edges. So if you could get some tack oil, in a gallon jug, or they do make it like Home Depot, and I don't recommend this for every situation, but for an emergency or if you're just trying to do a quick patch or something, they sell a liquid crack sealer, which is basically it's a latex or a liquid crack filler. You can use that as kind of a tack around the edges, and then put your cold patch in that to get that to seal. The best option for if you're thinking about doing potholes, pothole repair. I think Judd has a program there for the infrared, getting an infrared machine, so you're actually heating up and bonding to each other, the mix and everything. But for a quick fix, either that or if you do seal coat, we'll usually just spray. If I have to do potholes with a cold patch and I have my seal coat rig available, I'll come in, I'll just spray around those holes, spray in those holes, and then even if I go back, an hour later or something, I can put that patch in there, and it'll still create almost a water barrier bond, but it's when you're putting cold patch on asphalt, it is not a solid patch. So just know that and set that expectation to the owner or to your customer that, hey, this is a repair to keep cars from bottoming out or a trip hazard. But in the summer, when hot asphalt's available, you know, and this is something you can do. You say, hey, we'll come back, saw cut that out, put new asphalt in. It's going to cost you $500, but right now I can do it for $100 or $150 or something like that. So there's always that upsell. And if you're selling it as a safety, trip hazard, or issue like that, they're usually not going to say, oh no, I don't want to do that. So anyway, hope that answers your question.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just to be clear, you said to possibly put the the sealant liquid first and then put the cold patch.
Yeah, so you'll see if you go on YouTube and watch patching done, it's called a tack oil, and so if they saw cut out a hole and they're going to put new hot mix in there, even with that hot mix up against that existing asphalt that they saw cut out, they'll put a tack oil. So they'll either spray it with a wand, or you'll see them with a bucket and a brush, basically just like a car wash bucket and a bucket of liquid tar that they'll wipe on the edges, the perimeter of that hole, and then they'll put their mix in. And what happens is, as that asphalt is compressed up against that wall, it has kind of like a layer between the two that help keep moisture or water out from penetrating. It's never a stop solution, but it's better than nothing, I guess, is what it is. So, and you could always put it on top of it after you compact the cold patch in. You could always put it on top around the seams, but it usually doesn't dry because the oil that holds a cold patch material is a different oil. It actually takes time and for that oil to solidify and harden up. So,
yeah, Maddie, it's basically acting as glue, right? You've got a cold piece of asphalt and a hot piece of asphalt. That's not going to bond unless you have a bonding agent between. So tack oil works, or as Matt mentioned, being able to spray sealant over top of it is going to give it some water protection as well. So awesome, guys. Well, unfortunately, that's about all the time that we have here tonight. I do want to throw out a quick announcement. Judd is going to be joining the show next week. We've got a really exciting announcement coming for the e-learning side of the business. So, if you're getting started or you're looking for resources, you don't want to miss next week. We've got something really cool to announce, and I'm excited for you guys all to see it. So hopefully we'll see all 16 of you there and everybody who's listening after the fact here. But thanks again, as always, for coming out. Appreciate all of you guys for being part of the community here, and hope you all have an amazing evening.